Here's footage of the incident July 26th of 2018 in Redding, California. Now, this is one of those, we call them the esoteric fires, like the campfire, which was in Paradise. This was the car fire. And I think you've noticed that in the names, you may not have taken, too much notice of it. But it's not an accident, but it is an accident that they have silly names like that. The campfire, the car fire. Also, car being an acronym for something, or an anagram. And I keep my eyes a little bit more open on those days, because 7-2 tends to be a number that I identify with. So I'm watching things that happen on 7-2-2, 7-2-7, things like that. And sure enough, this happened. Now, I've been hearing about the car fire and knowing how a lot of these things go down. There was clearly, in fact, a few other people actually mentioned this. In fact, this is how I was made aware of it. That they couldn't get a hold of people that they knew that were like subscribers to their YouTube channel, things like that, that they were concerned about what was going on there. And just, again, knowing from the Santa Rosa event, which was 10 months earlier, what was going down. And, you have a huge amount of people out there saying, directed energy weapons were used. You're told to laugh at that. You got to keep in mind, these are people who've been in a lot more fires than you have. And these aren't kids, and these aren't people who have never seen fires before. They've never said anything like that before. So it's one of those cases of like, you can brush them aside as California kooks, but really, if I start seeing people posting in Florida, which I have, that there's problems with these hurricanes, that there's something very unusual going on, or that these aren't normal hurricanes, I'm definitely going to pay attention to that. Most people just brush them aside and go, well, they're just southern kooks, or they don't get it. And I'm like, no, they're the only ones who do get it, because they get hurricanes all the time. We get fires all the time. I've had 3 fires in my entire life that have, each one of them taking everything I owned. One of them took the entire home. When I was at age 7, I was in Wisconsin with my parents, and our house burned down in Encino. And in 2000, year 2000, ironically, July 2nd, 7-2. And just a few years ago, before New Year's, a very unusual fire, which I was not responsible for. And the investigators found that, but it was a very unusual event, because I'm not sure exactly how they came to the determination that they did, which was that an electrical spark or arc, as they put it, came out of the middle of my floor. That's what the actual report says. Now, the question I have is, why is it that people are not able to say anything about this? I mean, there's so many damn videos, and one of my specialties is not like UFO videos and stuff. There are so many anomalies in these videos that point directly to UFOs. And you got to keep in mind, it's always like at the corner of the camera. It's never directly in the picture. It's only coming out of the clouds, or you see some lights. They'll say, oh, it's just a piece of ember blowing in the, And that goes back to an incident that I had where there was something involved. It's called supernatural, in the metaphysical realm, paranormal. Very similar to entities that identify themselves almost as being like alien, but you can't prove that. That's what they said to me. But you're not going to be able to prove it. So they get a kick out of that. That gets them hard on. That little space hard on. Is that they like to say, yeah, but you can't prove it. And this makes sense, because every fucking picture of a UFO is never close up. Whoops-a-daisy, they do it on purpose, and it's always from a distance, so you can't make it out. It's always like really far away, or something's in the way, or it's at night, or not enough people saw it. Okay, that's a lot of control over people. And I'm telling you right now, it's not that. It's a spiritual thing for you guys. Like, if you can't look at this or hear this video, that's spiritual. But at the same time, it would be fair to say they put a block on you. They don't want you to know. Or something doesn't want you to know. Your government definitely does not want you to know. And when you have these events, it's frightening to me, because we have the Paradise Fire, where many of the complaints about how many people died in that, which was really, at the same time, amazingly low. I mean, you have a city of 30,000 evacuated. The fire was moving at a rate, according to CAL FIRE and according to the measurements from the acreage burned over what period of time, it was the fastest moving fire ever. It was a record. And it was burning over a football field a second. 60 football field, that's over 3 miles in a minute. That's the rate of burn when you add it all up. That fire started next to a river that was on a power plant. The Carr fire was a Keswick Dam, river, and power plant. Now they talk about PG&E foam. Okay, we have hundreds of foam poles that the wires didn't get crossed. There wasn't like a fire in the transformer. They're cut in the middle perfectly, like with a laser or a knife. Dangling. Some of them are totally smashed on the ground. Some of them are in areas where, well, wait a second, why did the wind blow it this way and not that way when all the other ones, I mean, there's very large anomalies here. Mailboxes or trash cans that are totally melted, and yet brush and all that are not even touched next to it. A car totally melted. The trees untouched, the grass untouched, or the grass is totally burned, the house is totally burned, the car is untouched in the garage. Wind damage from this car tornado. The fire didn't even reach some of these homes. Now, this is what's so amazing. Did you know that statistically, Los Angeles actually has more tornadoes per year, hold on, let me finish, than Oklahoma City does? I didn't say strong, I said it has more tornadoes a year. It's a trick question. Tornado has more overall tornadoes a year. The problem is, they don't have tornadoes that are that strong, that go up to 200, 300 miles an hour. They only get 20 tornadoes in Oklahoma, but 5 of them will kill you. In LA, they'll probably just maybe blow your car over at the worst. But we do get tornadoes here, especially with these winter storms. It's a weather of extremes out here. So it doesn't rain for 90% of the year, but when it does rain, it pours. And we get tornadoes and lightning and thunder. It's chaos. We have fire, earthquake, riot, and floods are our 4 seasons. Okay. This fire, this is not a fire tornado where you see the world of fire, it's all pretty and you can dance in it and sing chants to Native Americans. This is a tornado that came out of the cloud. In other words, they're claiming that the cloud was a thunderstorm, and that this tornado came out, and this tornado damaged homes far removed from the fire. So you have homes that weren't even burned, or only one of them was burned, or only the electrical, conduits are totally fried in this house, but the house is untouched. The next house next door, all the trees are down, mailbox burned, roof is only stripped of the shingles. Very bizarre phenomenon. Microwave phenomenon, directed energy phenomenon, no doubt. No doubt. And you don't hear about that. And people, get pissed off at that and start telling, the media, well, you say you're not lying and yet we're fake news. But what is holding your tongue? When you are going around interviewing these people, you say you're sorry for their homes burned. In Paradise, California, the number one complaint was, we had no idea. We had no idea. Okay, around the country, people who have watched these YouTube videos, whether you believed it or not, were on top of that Paradise fire the minute it started because they were waiting to see what's the next fucking stunt or directed energy weapon that's going to happen in California. But you're telling me that people in this town had no clue a year after Santa Rosa, had no clue that if you see fire bringing them, you could fucking get obliterated in seconds. Nuclear war zone type scenarios are how these homes looked a year earlier, and they didn't hear that. They don't know about that. Then we have a problem when the rest of the country, or conspiracy theorists or whoever, are on top of this and writing things in defense of California, where Trump is lying out, through his teeth. We only get 1/3 of our money back in California, and he's telling you, well, we're not going to give you any more billions of dollars because they're not cutting their trees. 80% of all the forest land out here is controlled by the government. It's not our responsibility to clean it. 80% of all our land that's forest land is owned by the federal government. But so people are like, oh, they're insulted because they had friends and family that died. No, we're insulted because it was a bold-faced lie. If we were able to keep all of our money that we pay, in fact, someone broke it down, you thought the communists were bad. States like South Dakota and states in the South that think we're assholes out here in California, they get $7 for every dollar they pay because they don't have enough money. So California pays for those states. California only gets maybe 1/3 of their money back, and every year the amount of money we get goes down and the amount of money we have to pay goes way up. If we were to secede from the U.S., you guys would be fucked. I'm serious. People have done studies on that. We'd be the 6th strongest country in the world economically because 5 of the richest people in the world live here and pay taxes. Correct. But when we have residents in this state that are so duped because someone who could be our neighbor and is a newscaster won't say anything except, wow, this is a really, a global warming and the winds, and it's the new normal, when everyone else knows, no one has any clue. The people don't have any clue. You're lying about the victims. We're not going to worry about why this is happening. If it's God's, of course it is, on that sense, whether it's aliens, whether it's the planet. This is shit that guys from the Vatican had predicted this. One guy said they're going to say it's nature, but it won't be nature when it happens. When is this going to happen? About 10 or 20 years. Father Malachi Martin said that. There was going to be a weapon that could change the nature, could change storms, could change weather. This is before anyone really heard about HAARP. They're going to say it's nature, but it won't be nature. That's what the priest said, and that's all he could say. And he was revealing secrets about what he called revelation in the end times, and clearly that's going on now. But there's some more hands involved in that. I don't know, maybe they're drones from another planet. But I just cannot figure what the benefit is to lie or to suppress it. So-called cognitive dissonance, which I don't believe in. And a lot of those motherfuckers out there, I know this after a fact because they punked me on one of my friends. Brainwashed her, made her forget who I was. I have no idea when I'm talking to her and when I'm not. They must have cited her because she's cute as someone I was targeting. Look, I'm a bodyguard. I used to have, all my cards and everything. I can arrest someone if I wanted to. I don't look like I look like a drug addict. That's the trick. And even they apparently got fooled by that, which is weird because he threw up a cock block, and I'm like, I've known her for 10 years. We used to live together. What the fuck are you guys doing? How do you know it's us? Right. You can't prove that. That's what they wrote me. I said, I just did. You wrote you can't prove that.